The Mendon-Honeoye Falls-Lima Sentinel welcomes you to this edition of the Mayor's and Supervisors Weekly Update, brought to you by...
Each week, our community makes history. Each week, you make history. And each week, there's only one source to turn to for the first take on history. You know what that is? Subscribe to the Sentinel right now to discover the history being made in your own backyard.
The Mendon-Honeoye Falls-Lima Sentinel. More than just your news, it's your history.
Hey, welcome everyone to this week's edition of the Mayor's and Supervisors Update. I'm Chris Carosa, publisher of the Mendon-Honeoye Falls-Lima Sentinel, and each week we bring you the goings-on of the towns and villages that we cover. This week we're going to be starting out with Mike Falk in the town of Lima. Mike, what's going on in Lima and perhaps Livingston County?
Hello, Chris. Thanks for having us again. The Glow Region Solid Waste Committee is pleased to announce that there will be a free paint recycling collection Saturday, June 10th in Pavilion, New York. You do need an appointment that you can get by calling 800-836-1154 or going to the glowsolidwaste.org website. This is only the materials that are accepted by the paint stewardship law, not anything that is considered a hazardous waste paint like aluminum paint. So if you have those kinds of paints and you are a resident or business in Genesee, Livingston, or Wyoming County, Saturday, June 10th in Pavilion is when that's going to be. The Lima Primary School has a food backpack program. The program sends food home to families in need on Fridays so that they will have food over the weekend. We currently have half a dozen families that are enrolled in this program, but the program does need some assistance with the food. If you have mac and cheese, pasta and sauce, but not in glass, soup, canned fruit, canned vegetables, peanut butter, jelly, canned tuna, canned chicken, Spam, breakfast bars, oatmeal, pancake mix, syrup, and snacks. The urgently needed items are the canned meat, cereal, and canned fruit or fruit cups. If you have any of those, please drop them off either at St. Rose Church here in Lima, just south of the Four Corners, or at St. Paul of the Cross Church in Honeoye Falls. Your generosity is appreciated. Congratulations to the 2023 Livingston County Teen Recognition Award winners. Those from Lima are Caitlin Blodgett, Wyatt Huff, and Sydney Proctor. They will be honored at a celebration banquet on Wednesday, April 27th, 6 p.m. over at Willow Creek in Lakeville. And lastly, we have, of course, had another one of the anonymous letters sent out to people in the township regarding the water. Again, even though they quoted me, they are the anonymous bullies and cowards who would have you listen to this sort of half-truths and try to skew things. Please listen to the folks who have actually put their names on stuff, make up your own mind, and either sign the petition if you're in favor or don't sign the petition if you're not in favor. And that's all I've got, Chris.
Okay, thanks, Mike. Hey, John, how about Mendon? What's going on there?
Thanks, Chris. I had a nice conversation with one of our residents this week, and one of the things that he brought up was that he gets the Sentinel delivered to his house every week, and he looks forward to reading about all the information from the various towns and villages. So attaboy to the Sentinel for that one.
Thanks.
I did want to mention that I've been started last week with my top 10 most frequently heard questions at Town Hall. Today, I'm going to use the one that is, I live in Mendon, but my mailing address is Honeoye Falls. How do I change that? Nothing against Honeoye Falls, but they obviously live on the east side of town. It is, and I tell them all very nicely, tongue in cheek, that to contact the Postmaster General. We don't have anything to do with assigning addresses as far as your state, city, and town, or in this case, the Village of Honeoye Falls, which is the post office. The only thing we do here is assign house numbers when a new home is built. So that's my top 10 of today, soon to be followed by another one next week. We have a couple of special meetings coming up on March 27th regarding changing our comprehensive plan for short-term rentals. That is a public hearing that is held at the Mendon Town Hall. We have another meeting on Wednesday, March 29th, which is a joint meeting with the Mendon Fire Commissioners, the Village of Honeoye Falls, and the Town of Mendon regarding the committee that put together some information and a recommendation on fire service within the Town of Mendon. Also, we are progressing with our military memorial and spray park. Had a lot of questions about what's the difference between a water park and a spray park. A spray park does not hold any water. In other words, there's more water in a mud puddle than there is at a spray park. There's no standing water. Yes, the surface is wet, but there is no standing water. And what we are building is a spray park. And we're progressing. We should be announcing some dates fairly soon, within the next month or so, for when we'll have dedication to the military memorial and when the spray park will be opening. We did award the contract for the septic system, which we have been delayed on for a number of reasons, but now that contract has been awarded, and we're hearing that that'll be done probably in the next 3 to 4 weeks. And that about covers us for today. Thank you.
All right. Thanks, John. Steve, over to you. Town of Henrietta, what do we got going there?
Yeah, so we had a town hall meeting with State Senator Jeremy Cooney addressing a wide range of topics that residents asked. I was pleased to learn that there is pending legislation to increase both the criminality and enforceability of the crimes regarding the illegal sale of cannabis, and especially with regards to the sale of cannabis to minors. As I'm sure other towns are experiencing, there are these shops that are opening up. They do not have a license to sell cannabis, and yet they're doing it. And for whatever reason, our district attorney is not prosecuting it. We worked with the sheriff's office. They sent in a 20-year-old rookie undercover, or plain clothes, and he was able to make a purchase of cannabis from at least one of these shops. And it's still not been prosecuted, and the shop still hasn't been shut down by the district attorney. So I'm glad to hear that, in addition to increasing the penalties and sentences for that type of offense, if our local district attorney's office won't take action, the attorney general's office would. So that's been a growing problem in town, and we'd love to shut it down. To date, we have authorized just a single cannabis dispensary. It's a business that currently does medical dispensary, and they are going to expand once they get their recreational license. But that's it. And yet we have probably half a dozen places selling cannabis illegally. So very excited to learn that's being addressed at the state Senate. I didn't get a chance to talk to him about my ideas on how to eliminate all reassessments, as well as completely changing assessment from a subjective measure to an objective formula. In Henrietta alone, that would save over $500,000 a year. Obviously, we could do a lot better things with that money than doing reassessments, because that would eliminate the legal fees, massive legal fees we have to pay to fight the certiorari lawsuits that come from commercial properties. We wouldn't have to pay for the appraisals for commercial properties, and we could eliminate all the salaries in the assessment office. As if you go to an objective formula, you don't actually need an assessment office. So In addition, that would save money at the county, who also has to have an assessment office, and it would eliminate the need for all the Office of Real Property Tax Services offices in the state. So it would save everybody a ton of taxpayer dollars. Makes a lot of sense. So, who knows whether the state will actually implement it. And finally, we've been working with the Seneca Nation to look at places that they consider to be of historical importance, with the idea of creating historic plaques, working with the Seneca Nation. A lot of the historic plaques with regards to Native American sites are often skewed from the perspective of the colonizer. And it would be nice to hear the Native Americans tell the tales about their historic sites from their own words. So we're looking to do that because we have a number of what I believe are historic trails, but again, I want to hear them pick what they are within Henrietta. And in fact, one of those former trails we're turning into a river walk trail. And so it would be neat to identify the sites along the way, and or, if there's a name that they would love to see the trail use, we would look at doing that. So we just had our first meeting with them today. We have been exchanging a few emails, sent over what we're looking to do, and they're going to review it internally. So excited about that, and look forward to seeing, the history of Henrietta goes back much farther than the 200 years plus that, it's been the town of Henrietta. So very excited about that.
Okay, thanks, Steve. Rick, over to you, Village of Honeoye Falls, and anything that might be happening at the Monroe County level.
Well, thanks. I appreciate the opportunity again, and I'm gonna start with a couple things from the county side, specifically because number one, I just want to say kudos to Steve and the group in Henrietta. I think their work with the Seneca Nation is a great step that maybe will lead to other communities doing some of the same things. And so kudos to you, Steve, and your team. And then also, I'm going to tag team a little bit on something that Mike brought up as well, which was very appropriate because one of the things we have is also on April 27th at approximately 7 p.m. or 6 p.m. as well. The Monroe Community College, Monroe County will host its annual Youth Award ceremony as well. During the ceremony, the county legislature will provide awards to some incredible youths from around the county who have been nominated for their efforts or programs they may be involved with that set a great example to others for positive community impact. And last year, I was able to present 6 or 7 awesome individuals with awards who reside in the 5th legislative district that I represent, and that includes Henrietta and Rush and part of Pittsford and Mendon, certainly. And while I don't know how many there will be this year, I do know there are certainly young adults from our area that will be receiving awards. So I'm looking forward to that. Moving back over to the village side, as mentioned last week, our village budget for 2023-2024 has been completed, now moves to the public hearing stage. And what does that mean? Well, what that simply means is that the budget is available for full review at the village office. People can stop down to the village office at any time during regular business hours to take a look at it and review it if they'd like. It will also be posted on our village website, www.villageofhoneoyefalls.org. That'll be done over this weekend. You may call the village office with any questions, 624-1711. You can send an email to the village at villageofhoneoyefalls.org. Or you may, again, stop down to the village office, 5 East Street in the village during regular business hours and review it and ask any questions you may have. We then move to a public hearing process. That public hearing is set for Monday, April 3rd at 6 p.m. at the Village Hall. We'll go through that process, and then we would expect to move forward with approving the village budget. And directly after that, at 6:30 p.m., the Village of Honeoye Falls will host its annual meeting. That meeting is for the general appointments and approvals to conduct village business for the upcoming year. That's all approved at that time. We'll also officially welcome new village board members, committee appointments, and thank those who have served the village over the last year. And then lastly, at this meeting, we will also honor Deputy Mayor and Village Trustee Stan Warboys, who decided not to run for re-election this past year after serving 26 years in the village. Stan served 2 years on our zoning board before becoming elected to the village board, where he has served for the last 24 years. Stan has always shown a deep concern for our village, has demonstrated the ability to work as a team member and a team leader to benefit our community, and was always willing to do what was right for the community overall, even if the decision was difficult or not popular. We thank Stan and his wife Gail for their steadfast love of this community. And as an example to Stan's commitment, while he steps away from the village board activities, he's also agreed, though, to take on the role of committee chairperson for the newly formed Deer Management Oversight Committee. This committee will now preside over the deer management program that now has 2 seasons under its plan. The program seems to be very successful, as between 20 to 30 deer were taken within village boundaries this past year. This is an important program that was facilitated by a dedicated group of committee members led by Mr. Warboys. This effort is aimed at working to keep the white-tailed deer herd within the village managed and healthy, and we believe we're seeing positive results. So we thank Stan for his great service to this community over the years. We look forward to honoring him. And again, that's it for the village this week. Thanks again, Chris, for the opportunity. I appreciate it.
Thanks, Rick. Anybody else have anything they may have forgotten to add? Seeing none, thank you all for being a part of this week's show. And thank you all for listening. Remember, we are airing this every Sunday at 1 o'clock on our Facebook and YouTube channels. If you like our Facebook page, you will be notified when it airs. Same thing, if you subscribe to our YouTube channel, you will be notified when it airs then. With that, we'll see everybody next week. Bye-bye for now.
Yeah.
Bye-bye.
Imagine yourself communicating with a difference. Pan-Dimensional Solutions helps you do this. Whether live spectator events, taped broadcasts, or real-time audience-engaging programs, you can benefit immediately from the tools Pan-Dimensional Solutions will share with you. Do you want to make a difference? Contact us at pandimensional.com.